Dr. Aukot, how are you?
I'm very well, Eric.
You're well health-wise.
I'm very well. Even mentally, whatever, physically. I thank God.
Aye. Are you sure?
Yeah.
You don't have any bile, some extra secretion of bile in your system?
Why would that be the case? I'm only told as I was coming here to shop for an helmet because there are people who are very unhappy with our decision to object to our candidate's nomination. So that's the only worry I have, but it doesn't really bother me because I respect and obey the law. So the law must be followed at all times, regardless of who you are.
A number of things have happened in the last couple of weeks. You'll tell us those things that have happened. Number one, the last time you were here, you were saying that you want to be the next president of Kenya. In fact, you were going to be on the ballot.
Yes.
We have seen the ballot, a copy of the ballot.
Yes.
And the name Ekuru Aukot is not here.
That's true.
So you'll tell us how come. 2 days ago, you wrote to the chairman of the IEBC, Wafula Chebukati, and the headline of your letter, complained on nomination of Raila Amolo Odinga as a presidential candidate.
Absolutely.
You're complaining that IEBC has cleared Raila.
Yes.
Okay.
That he ought not to have been cleared. Because let's start from this, because I think Kenyans must understand the law. Party called Azimio la Umoja, one
Kenya
Alliance, coalition party. Its membership is corporate. So the members of Azimio la Umoja is ODM, Na Kenya, Jubilee, KANU,
DAP Kenya,
and others. Exactly. Now, under the Political Parties Act, only natural persons can be members of a political party. And you must register 1,000 members in a majority of counties, being 24 counties. Meaning each political party must have a threshold. The constitutional threshold is of 24,000 natural persons.
Living persons.
Living persons.
Yes.
Living persons registered as members by the IEBC.
Okay.
Now, I have no problem if Azimio wanted to nominate a candidate, but the candidate cannot be a living person called Raila Amolo Odinga. It can either be ODM, Na Kenya, Wiper, and those people cannot be found in the register of voters by IEBC. Wiper today cannot go to the polling station and vote. City, are we together?
I need you to say that again. Let's start from the
ODM.
Let's start with the Political Parties
political party,
Amended Act of 2022.
Exactly.
Okay.
The amendment of 2022, Political Parties Amendment Act of 2022, exempted coalitions from being members. It exempted actually Azimio or coalitions. Now,
It exempted them
from having natural members, living persons.
Let's start with this new law allows a coalition party to be created.
Yes.
And then the new law says a coalition party shall be a creation, shall be formed by individual parties joining.
Yes.
And not individual human beings joining. So it's the membership of a coalition party
is
political
parties.
As corporate entities.
Yes.
Okay.
So
up to there we are together.
We are together.
Now,
so
participation in an election.
If a political party, and in this particular case, the Azimio la Umoja Coalition Political Party, has to nominate a member, its member, to run for election, it can only be that corporate body, not a living person.
Because no living person can be a member of a coalition party.
No. It's only political parties. And in this particular case, we are talking about ODM, Na Kenya, KANU, and the rest. So I have no problem if Azimio la Umoja were to nominate a candidate.
I understand that, but I've got to ask you a question. And if we're going, because we're splitting hairs here, so I've got to ask a question that will now make this clearer in my mind. Does the Act explicitly say that it is only parties that can form a coalition, or does it also say that only that it cannot then have living members register as candidates? What does it say?
The law
or
is
does
very
it say
the law
does it
is
say
very
two of those
explicit.
things?
Let me tell you, the law is very explicit. You see, these people make their own bed. They must sleep on that same bed. Because they created this law for their own personal political interest. And the assumption they made was that members of a political party, I mean a coalition political party, in this particular case Azimio la Umoja, can fill in a candidate who is a living person. The law is explicit. Only political parties can be members of a coalition political party.
That it says.
So
All
if
right.
they have to fill in a candidate, again, I say again, it can only be a member of that political coalition party, not a living person. And by the way, let's contrast with the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. Kenya Kwanza Alliance actually were clever when they gave William Ruto a UDA certificate because he's a member of UDA. It's also a coalition of parties.
Yeah.
Kenya Kwanza Alliance is a coalition of political parties, but they were clever enough to know that they cannot give William Ruto a certificate of Kenya Kwanza Alliance. They gave him a certificate of UDA. Now, on the other side, the guys who are used to impunity in this country, who do not even read the law, do not understand anything, they believe that Kenya belongs to them, who are foolish enough to give their candidate a certificate called Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya Coalition Party.
I want to take you back a little bit because I was
But are we now together so
Oh,
far?
I understand
I
what you're
yes,
saying.
now.
I
Yes.
understand what you're saying. Now, this process that ends up with the IEBC giving someone the okay to have their name on the ballot box, at some point the history of political parties plays a part. What is the process that people walk through to the point where they actually get to the IEBC, to that panel, and then declared?
Yeah.
What is it?
So Siti, let's start it from this way. I have formed a political party.
Yes.
And for my party to be fully registered, I must approach living persons who are registered members, voters in Kenya.
Yes.
Okay? Then I must make sure that my party has garnered at least 1,000 registered members in a majority of countries, which is 24,000.
Yes.
24,000 living persons, registered voters. Okay? And that's why the ORPP, the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, comes in. It's the ORPP that actually gives you the certificate of registration. ORPP works with the IEBC. The IEBC will then verify and say, okay, the party you've given us are its members in our voter register. If it says okay, then you're good to go. Okay? Now, if my political party like Thirdway Alliance Kenya nominates me to run for office, the process we went through, in fact, this is very interesting. The process we went through Sunday, first thing I did was to present my papers. There are several checklists. Okay? The second person I appeared before was an officer from ORPP. And that officer went to now the register. I said, Ekuru, give me your ID. I gave him my ID. This is my ID. He actually checked. He showed me, okay, you're a registered voter. You're voting in Kapedo Girls Primary. Then we went to the next stage where we issued the declaration. Now, let's come to this Azimio la Umoja
Did
coalition.
this ORPP person confirm that
Yes.
you are a member of
Thirdway Alliance
Party?
Kenya. Yes. He confirmed. His name was Nyongesa.
Okay.
So that was second checklist. Are you actually a member of a political party? Now let's come to the Azimio la Umoja guy. If Nyongesa was, and this is where the mischief is. If ORPP was to be honest, there is no member of Azimio la Umoja coalition political party called Raila Amolo Odinga. The membership will be ODM, Na Kenya, Wiper, but not a living person. Let me tell you, City, this watu wanajitengezea sheria bado na wakaranga their own law.
You know the reason why I asked that question?
Yes.
Because from what you're saying,
Yes.
I get the impression that you're saying the ORPP don't know what they're doing.
Yes.
IEBC don't know what they're
Or
doing.
they know, but they're deliberately doing it because of this whole issue of impunity, in my view, because they don't follow the law.
Or are we saying that you have presented an interpretation of the law as you understand it, and they have an interpretation that is different from yours?
Yeah, but you see, this is not rocket science, City. the membership of a political party are registered Kenyan voters. It's like you saying today, let a foreigner come here in Kenya and run for president of Kenya. First, you will not be in the register. That's a fact. This is not rocket science, you know. So for you to vote, CT, you have to be in that voter register.
The bone of contention.
You don't necessarily need to be a member of a political party, but you have to be a registered voter.
The bone of contention here.
And for you to run for office, Eric, you must be nominated by a political party.
That's right.
Yeah?
Right.
And I have no problem with Azimio la Umoja nominating one of its members.
Right.
But who is the member they nominated?
So
is there a part of this law,
Yeah.
and that is where we've arrived at actually, is there a part of this law that allows a coalition party to pick an individual as its flag bearer, as a candidate?
No.
Nowhere in the law.
A political party can only nominate a member.
No. Here in this particular case, we are moving from the previous political parties as we know them to a coalition political party.
Yes.
A coalition political party shall participate in elections.
Yes.
That's the reason why they are forming coalition political parties. We have this law. Now, understanding that a coalition political party can participate in elections,
Yes.
having institutional members, does the law not give them leeway that as a coalition political party,
Let's read the amendment.
one of your members,
Yeah.
which is ODM, for example, can nominate, and the others can agree that the ODM member is the flag bearer for purposes of an election.
Eric.
And then it says that if a member of ODM comes, it can be the coalition political party flag bearer.
That can be a convenient interpretation. The law is straight here, very straight and narrow. Only a member of a political party, and in this particular case, is a coalition of political parties, can be nominated by that party to run for public office. So, I have no problem. Again, I repeat this. I have no problem with Azimio la Umoja political party nominating its member. Let us know who is that member that they have nominated.
Okay.
And in any case, Eric, we cannot now excuse, conveniently rely on one part of the law and ignore the other. For example, for you to get a certificate of full registration, that's what it's called under the ORP, the Political Parties Act. For you to get a certificate of full registration to be called a political party, you must have 24,000 members living registered by IEBC.
Okay.
So,
why has this become an issue now, Ekuru? And the question is then, why have you figured this out now?
No. Not now. I had not figured this out now.
When did this come about? We heard about this 2 days ago that you wrote this letter. When did all of this come about?
Because I could not object to somebody who has not been nominated
You
as
had
a
to wait for the
candidate.
So you
fact.
waited until he was declared a candidate and received his nomination certificate in order to do
You
that?
could
Remember-
not preempt something that has not happened.
No, we have to wait. There's a principle of law called ripeness.
Okay.
So a matter has to be ripe for you to be able to go to court.
Okay.
Now, there's no way I could have gone academically and said, oh, I suspect so and so will be nominated. It will be an exercise in futility. So I had to wait for the facts to happen. And remember, we had even actually raised a complaint against Raila, Kalonzo, Mudavadi, and Ruto on early campaigns and using state resources. But you know what they told us? No, but we don't know whether they will run. We don't know whether they will be nominated.
Yeah, they are not.
And some of that prediction actually was true. We thought Kalonzo will run because we had objected. We thought Mudavadi will run. And we had raised the issue about the fact that these are actually public officers. You know? But now, one of our suspicion has come true. That one person called Raila Amolo Odinga is actually been nominated. But the question then, by who? It's not ODM that has nominated Raila Amolo Odinga. It is the...
Let me ask.
By the way, let's
question.
read the law. You know, Eric, I wish you had warned me about this issue. I would have come with a copy of the political parties.
You can
Political
find it
parties
online.
Act. Yeah.
You just go into...
Yeah, but you see, you've done your research. So
what-
tell me where there is an exception.
What I'm looking at is actually several pieces. Now, this is a communique on the Political Parties Act as amended by the political parties
Yes.
with respect to the August 9th general election. This was an advisory issued by the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties. It says the Political Parties Act is an act of parliament. Obviously, the office of the registrar wishes to draw the attention of Kenyans to various elements of the act and related issues, and as highlighted below. Now, I want to talk about what we talked about, coalition political parties. A coalition political party, being a political party, is qualified to participate in all the 6 elections and all electoral areas. Registered members of political parties in a coalition political party, subject to nomination rules in coalition agreement, are the only ones eligible to participate in the nomination of candidates of a coalition political party. Right? Then it jumps. We go into, upon the submission of a coalition agreement and subject to fulfilling other requirements under the Political Parties Act, the ORPP is required to issue a coalition political party with a certificate of full registration. The coalition agreement, as read with nomination rules, shall determine development of party lists for allocation of special seats. The coalition agreement, as read with nomination rules, shall determine the elective seats and electoral areas in which the coalition political party shall field candidates. There's a repetition here of election rules of the coalition political party, which has been registered as a party. Do you know what the election rules of Azimio coalition party are? Is it possible that the rules say that parties shall nominate, because we saw that's what they did, parties shall nominate members for consideration as flag bearer.
Yeah.
And parties all agreed. Jubilee stood up and said, they met and they said, we are supporting ODM's choice. Others said the same. And ODM said, we are nominating Raila as our person.
Yeah.
So Azimio then agreed that ODM's choice of Raila is the one that is acceptable to all the members of the coalition political party. The question now, though, is do the nomination rules of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition political party allow for the nominee of a political party?
So let them come and say these are our rules of nomination. But as far as I know, according to the law, first of all, I mean, do you know the rules of my political party?
No.
You don't know? No. So I don't know about the rules of nomination for Azimio. For me, what I'm interpreting directly is the rule of law. And the rule of law is very clear.
Would it go contrary to the law if the nomination rules allow for an ODM candidate to become the Azimio flag bearer under Azimio?
Well, first of all, let's go to the hierarchy of laws and rules. A rule, a regulation of a political party cannot be superior to a substantive statutory provision. A statutory provision here is very clear that for you to be a political party and to nominate anybody, that person has to be a member of your political party. So a statutory provision here is superior than a regulation of a rule of a political party, whether it's nomination or not. Again, it cannot, even the statutory provision cannot supersede a constitutional provision. And the Constitution also is absolutely clear. Only a living person can run for elective office, not a corporate body.
What I hear you to be saying, Dr., is that all these legal minds that are in Azimio missed this thing completely. Or they saw it, but didn't give a hoot.
They interpreted it in their own, to suit.
Yeah, well, I'm putting it bluntly, they didn't give a hoot. They decided, this is what we're going to do. So
there'll be no Ekuru to figure this out. So, we can just move on.
So it can be either, I mean, City, you could be right, you could be wrong. But let's also not forget that in this country, we are living impunity every day, where people do not think that they can be questioned, where some people think that Kenya belongs to them and only they can be Kenyans. That is part of the problem here. People pass laws. For example, let me give you an example of why impunity in this country is excused. You know, an act of parliament called the Retirement Benefits Act, into bracket, vice president and designated persons. Okay? Now, that law was intentionally created to suit certain individuals. And that law makes these individuals permanent public officers. This is something we also raised in the context of Raila, in the context of Kalonzo, Mudavadi, and who is the other person? And any public officer anyway, who seeks to run for public office. And that's why, through our taxes, we hire an office for them. We hire an accountant for them. We give them some stuff. Every 4 years, we give them motor vehicles. And they are described as advisors to the government in the public office. Okay? Now, this is a law that was actually passed. And if you recall, and this is where we all take this opportunity to educate Kenyans. If you recall, after Raila Kalonzo lost to Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto, they were told, either you retire
from
or you miss your benefits, pensions. Okay? They refused. Uhuru and Ruto decided you're not going to get even a single penny until the handshake happened. That's when they started getting payments from the Retirement Benefits Act. Okay? I'm giving you a long route so that you can understand the impunity in this country. Now, if you look at the 2021-2022 budget.
Where's the impunity here?
Wait, I'll come to the...
You're getting there.
I'll get there. I'll get there. If you look at the 2021-2022 budgetary estimate, there is an individual called Raila Amolo Odinga who was awarded 98 million Kenya shillings, including 31.6 million to refurbish his houses. I don't know what those houses are. Okay? There is another individual, late now, called Emilio Mwai Kibaki, was given 97 million. There's Kalonzo, there's Mudavadi, and you can read that budget. It's not me making it up. Okay? Now, these laws are made for individuals. It is the same philosophy that's now being applied in the philosophy or lack of it, in this Political Parties Act, that we make laws to suit individual interests. And it's now coming to bite them. And that's also another matter we raised, which people are not asking us, why did we raise this issue about the RBA? Now they are conveniently asking us, Ekuru, why are you raising this issue? Is it because you are not qualified? You are disqualified by IEBC?
Sour grapes.
It does not, no. You see,
but where's...
let me ask you.
I still don't get the... You see, the Uhuru and Ruto come in, say, if you don't retire, you don't get the benefits.
Yes.
Handshake comes, benefits which had been rescinded earlier on is reinstated. Okay, so explain to me.
And that makes you now a public officer under the law, under the RBA Act.
Yes, that one I got. Where's the impunity? Is it on the part of those who are in government or on the part of those who were not receiving?
Those who refused to
retire.
Both.
Not receiving.
Both ways.
How?
Because, for example, Uhuru Kenyatta conveniently decides, I mean, in 2013, why didn't he pay Raila and Kalonzo their retirement benefits? Yet the law was there, you know, and he remember the debate.
They had a right to expect those dues.
Exactly, by law.
Irrespective of whether they retired, didn't retire.
No. The retirement is very specific, CT. You want to benefit, because listen, there's a specific provision in that act that places you as a public officer and as an advisor to the government.
Yes.
And on the basis of that,
so you cannot hold any other state office.
Exactly. You cannot hold any other state office. And this is the issue that we raised. That is the impunity I'm talking about, where people go to parliament and actually make laws to benefit themselves. And when you point it out, people say, no, you cannot. I mean, it's utadu.